Hi, I'm Bill, and if this is the first time dropping into the channel, welcome. So, this video might be more of a stream of consciousness type of thing, and if you give me a couple of moments, I'll explain. I titled it, I opened Pandora's box, and loosely the Greek myth about Pandora and Pandora's box was that Zeus wanted to punish humankind for a certain digression that happened, and in no way am I saying that PixInsight was created as punishment to astrophotographers. That's not really the intent of this video, and I think this video maybe raises some questions that you can help me with in a greater context. And so let me get started here. So I've reached the point where I had some data from last year that was good. So I sat down with PixInsight and started to go through a workflow trying to define the best workflow for me. This image here is the result of using narrowband filters on the Heart Nebula, as you can tell from the image. And a whole bunch of things happened in the process of working to produce an image. And the first thing I want to say is, while I've only been a PixInsight user really in earnest for a couple of weeks, and I've done some online tutorials with Atom Block Studios, which I think are great in helping you understand what's happening behind the curtain and all that. I think PixInsight is an easy application to understand and use. The algorithms are, science-based mathematics. I don't profess to even understand the mathematics behind it, nor will I probably ever. But where PixInsight becomes a challenge in my mind is the moment you start to process an image where you touch a curves tool, or you do a screen transformation process, or you're using pixel math to combine data from various images, you've now kind of crossed the line in my mind of going from a technician, which is what you do when you're doing data collection, making sure your focus is proper, you're using the right filter, very checklist driven. But then you step into this realm, and it doesn't even have to be with PixInsight, because this applies to other tools as well for image processing. You step into the realm where I believe you become an artist. And me, for one, I'm not really comfortable being an artist. I never saw myself as being artistic. I've always been more of the technician, checklist driven person. So as I was processing this image, I go, well, what is this really supposed to look like? And yes, I decided to use the Hubble color palette. Tell you the truth, I don't really like the Hubble color palette, but that's the one I chose to start with. But I do understand why the Hubble scientists use the Hubble color palette, because it helps them bring out certain structures within these nebula and other objects that they're imaging. And so I get that. And I also get on how they identify the which narrowband filters to apply with red, green, and blue based upon length of wavelength. So, I get that. But it presents a lot of problems to me on, what is this image really supposed to look like? These are false colors. They're not true colors. And then that gets you thinking, are there really even true colors? Because even within our cameras, there's a level of processing that happens that then results in converting grayscale into color. So, as I sat down last night near the end of the evening, and I said, okay, I'm going to stop. This is version 2. All these thoughts came to my mind. And, how do I know when I'm done? And so I think what I'm looking for is some feedback from you, those of you that process images. Kind of how do you approach it? When do you know that your image is done? And is an image ever done? I can see myself working on this image over months and maybe even years. Maybe this season I collect some more data, and then I incorporate it into the number of light frames that make up this image, which is about 10 hours, and then I process 20 hours worth of data. But I'm still left with a series of decisions on how to use the PixInsight tools. For instance, curve transformation, and we'll just do something simple like in creating the lightness. I don't know how this shows on your monitor, how light should it be? What should I do with the red channel? Should I bring red down? Should I bring red up? So these are all decisions that as a image processor we need to make. And, it requires some thought. And you have to understand what your goals are. So this is where I am at. I mean, I'm very excited about being able to make progress within PixInsight. And clearly the Atom Block Studios tutorials have helped me. And there is a wealth of information out on the internet, and I am going to put a link in this video to a video I watched from a person that kind of steps you through using masks and everything, which at least for the learning style that I like fit in very well with what how I learned. So I'll put that link in there. But I just really wanted to ask the question and to maybe drive the point a little bit more. I came to this as a photographer. So here is an image I took. She was in my studio. I was able to see what she looked like, and then I was able to take the image and I was able to adjust maybe the white balance and a little bit of exposure and get a pretty factual representation, a real representation of her, of Farah. And but we can't walk up and get a few light years away from a nebula, and take a look at it. And if we did, what would it really look like? So now on the image processing side of the house, much like Pandora's box, her curiosity got the better of her and she unleashed all these troubles on humankind. I've got a lot of troubles right now. In time, much like Pandora's box, if we flip over the cover of her box, we'll find hope. So, I have hope, but really, there's so many questions now that I have. And it was clear to me early on, I think one of my earlier videos, I kind of maybe did one where I had one side was the data acquisition, the other side was the image processing. And, I said, okay, I'll learn the data acquisition first, and then I'll move into the image processing. And I thought, okay, maybe it's 50-50, but really I think it's the data acquisition side is really the easy stuff in a sense. There's challenges, but you work through them. And but stepping over onto the image processing side, I've got so many questions now, including when am I done? And I think what it comes down to, and where I'm at, and this is why I'd like to, hear from you, is I think what I'm left with, false color, real color, subjective, objective, I think I'm done when it's aesthetically pleasing to me. I think that's the best answer I have right now. So again, I just wanted to share with you some of the feelings that I'm have started to develop now that I've stepped into through the door into the image processing side. And like other things, over time, I imagine I will develop a style maybe, and that will help guide me as to when an image is good enough to call done. But then on the other hand, I think maybe, the image is never ever quite done. So this is where I'm at. I just thought I would share with you what my thoughts and feelings are now that I've started the image processing, and kind of solicit your thoughts and comments. You've been very helpful to me in other areas with the camera selection and other tips. So maybe you could just share some of your thoughts on how you approach determining when you're done in image processing, and what your thoughts are on maybe real colors or false colors or Hubble palette versus HOO palette or whatever the palette may be that you use. Okay, so I'm very excited. I've definitely got a lot more to think about and to work through, and it's really about making decisions. And I don't think I'm going to make the right decision or the wrong decision per se. I need to make some decisions so I could move forward. So this image where it sits right now, I kind of got the colors, I believe, where I want it, but now I'm going to try and bring in a luminous layer using the HA image, and see if I can enhance some of the detail in this image. So clearly I got more work to do. There are probably tools within PixInsight that can help me get out more of the noise. So again, it's an interesting tool, PixInsight, and I'm sure whatever tool you may be using, you're probably facing similar challenges as well. So, all right, I've opened up Pandora's box. That's fine. I'll work through it, because I know when I flip the top of the box open, there's hope, and hope will be my guiding principle going forward this season as I collect more good data and start to work my way through processing it. Also, I have the Sol Nebula data that was good that I captured after I figured out my filter fiasco, so I'll be doing that next. So, all right. Well, if you like this kind of content, please give it a thumbs up. As always, like, share, and subscribe. I want to thank you for dropping into the channel, and see you next time.